Hello, everybody. I'm so excited that you are interested in being a home church leader. And the impetus behind it for this summer session is 8 weeks, that we take 8 weeks and we walk out the book of Acts. We're studying the book of Acts. And how better to walk it out than to live it in a home church setting. Okay, so kind of the COVID-19 phases in King County have merited that we can't meet on Sundays together right now, but we can certainly meet in homes with up to 5 others who don't live in your home right now. There'll be another video about CDC guidelines to follow, social distancing, wearing masks, and so on and so forth. But this one is all about the impetus and the reason, the purpose for these home churches. So I'm going to read from the sheet and your notes, and you can read together. Let's read from Acts 2:42 through 47. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. That's what they devoted themselves to, the people of God in the New Testament church. Teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, prayer. Everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. So that was the bigger meetings, kind of like our Sunday meetings. But they also broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. God gave them favor because he favors those who favor him. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. And so they were devoted to those very specific things. It's interesting that there are systems and processes and structures that are important for a mighty move of God. Some people say it's just a free flow. No, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. And they had everything in common. They shared meals together. They got together in homes. And that's what we're going to do for these next 8 weeks. The elements of a home church are eating together. I like that one. Eating together. Worship. Praying together. A spirit-led Bible discussion, as well as a multiplying mindset. We've had our small groups here, and they've been great. But one of the things I think that we kind of lack is the multiplying mindset. So, yes, we're going to worship together, pray together. Yes, we're going to share a meal together. And yes, we're going to have a spirit-led Bible discussion. But the multiplying mindset is something that we are inputting into these home churches, that we come together understanding that God's going to multiply. How is God going to multiply this in my home? How is God going to multiply this in my work? How's God's going to multiply this in my neighborhood? And that we ask that question and we believe God that he's going to multiply whatever he does in our home churches. He's going to multiply it. And he's going to make disciples who make disciples. The biblical model shows us key elements, and let's read it. To live like the New Testament church, the church was known for being spirit-led and powerfully effective in making disciples who make disciples. Because of how they lived, they were bright, shining lights for Jesus in their neighborhoods and communities, and they changed their world. Our world needs change. There's chaos going on. There's fights and there's riots and there's violence, and there has been, honestly, for decades in our society in America, there has been craziness and fighting against the forces of God, fighting against the forces of evil. And there's been people that have done incredibly sinful things in our society, and there is an epidemic of sin that has been passed down from generation to generation. And so our home churches kind of fly in the face of that and say, we have an answer. There's a lot of bad news, but we're bringing good news. Because of how they lived, they were bright, shining lights for Jesus in their neighborhoods and communities, and they changed their world. The times have never been so turbulent, nor the conditions more ripe for a mighty move of God, of God's Spirit through his church. Through our home churches, let's expect his Spirit to be poured out in might and power to change our world. That is a key element, that we expect his Spirit to be poured out in might and in power. That we expect, God, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? It's exciting to think about what is God going to do? What could he do? And that we believe him for the gifts of the Spirit to be poured out among us and to us and through us. There's a sample schedule on the bottom of this sheet. It says total time is about 2 hours, that we gather the people 15 minutes before the service starts. So have coffee ready, refreshments ready for the group, and then begin to just connect online with people on the online platform and on Facebook as you go on to the service. Please show it on a big screen if you can at all, and make sure that then you participate in the service for the about an hour. So 15 minutes ahead of time, and get your refreshments, get online, get on Facebook Live, and be communicating with other people and inviting and sharing with other people. Then have the service together. I want to encourage you to worship, to lift your hands, to clap, to sing, just as if you were in the building, all right? And to spend that hour together and then listening and taking notes. And then afterwards, I want to encourage you to have a 20 to 30 minute Spirit-led Bible discussion about what the message was and respond to it. And then about a 15-minute prayer time, okay? Now, I understand the Spirit of God can move powerfully, and there could be ministry to people that takes longer than that. But kind of set a goal of about 2 hours from start when they come to the end, at the end of prayer, that's a kind of a time frame for these Sunday home churches. If you want to do a meal afterwards, or if you want to do a meal beforehand, you can adjust this schedule however it's best for the members. But that's kind of the overview of the home churches, and I'm trusting that God is going to pour out his Spirit in our home churches, and we're going to see literally moves of his Spirit similar to the book of Acts, and that we would be Spirit-led and let God's Spirit move through us and see the gifts of the Spirit meet the needs in relevant and tangible ways. God bless you. Watch the next video when you can, and we will continue to move forward in the training. God bless.